So hello to all my cool mommies out there. So I just want to share this amazing book that I was able to find at book sale here at Gaisano, and it's entitled Overindulged Children, A Parent's Guide to Mentoring. So this isn't about a book about how to discipline the kids. It's more about how to understand our parenting mechanisms, and it's trying to let us know that whatever we do, it's not just affecting our children, but it's also reflecting their behavior. Even the things that we do, that what we think is positive, could actually hurt them in the long run, especially if it's a positive trait that is too much. Kaya merong kasabihan na kapag kulang, yes, it's dangerous, it's not good. However, kapag kulang ang isang bagay, pwede natin itong punan. But if something is too much, it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, it would surely still affect our kids. It would create imbalance with their pattern behaviors, with their attitudes, with their personalities. Okay? So what I liked about the intro is that it says all children need 3 sets of skills before they can become adults. They need to know when to be dependent so that they can heal from hurts, how to be kind so they can have quality relationships, and they need the stamina of self-reliance so they can stand on their own 2 feet. Indulged children learn to be over-dependent and nothing else. So it's quoted by the author from Jim Fogarty, and it's really nice to hear that. But sometimes, even though there are so many influencers out there or pages that are showing us how to mother or to parent our kids, sometimes it's too good to be true kasi iba talaga yung realidad, especially when you're doing it every day. However, in the introduction page, there is this question that was asked, and I felt the relevance not just for most of the moms out there, but as a whole. Why there is a sudden change with the new generation of kids? Like, ang daming matatanda na nagsasabi na parang iba yung mga kabataan ngayon. And it also led me to ask myself. And at the end of the day, my husband and I really talked about it, and I asked him, like, why is it that kids nowadays are really iba from how we were raised? Like before, just one stare from our parents, we would go like, we will know that we did something wrong. And there are all sorts of parents, madaming parenting styles, and I don't want to go one by one with that, but there is one question here that was asked by the author to the readers. So the question goes like this: have you ever wondered why children seem more distant, even though this generation of parents has every parenting expert, parenting book, and helpful service available to them? And all sorts of entertainments are available for the kids, all sorts of toys, gadgets, everything. And it says here that today is a time of prosperity, but there are more children flunking classes, being truant, and just being just being ruly most of the time. How have parents lost their influence with their children? Well-intended parents have instilled within their children a false sense of self-esteem by overindulging them. I cannot say if it's really good to relate the word overindulge with spoiling, because when you spoil, you really know that you're spoiling your child. Spoiled mo siya. You're giving them everything, and you can see the behavior that is exchanged with that. However, overindulging parents are the parents who have the best intentions for their kids. Like, for example, a parent who had a very rough childhood, who didn't have anything, like, let's say, toys. Let's say a parent didn't have any toys when he or she was young. So what they do, they make bawi with their kids. They give everything to their kids. Like, hindi ko to naramdaman when I was a kid, so I will give it all to you. out of pure love, out of good intentions. However, with that, our kids would feel more distant. Kasi if we focus on just giving them material things, toys and everything, without actually being there for them, without actually making them feel that we are paying attention to them, that would lead to them feeling self-entitled, feeling resentment maybe towards the parents. And there are some situations that I've seen this, given that I was able to teach and I was able to see different kinds of home setups, behaviors of kids. So madami actually, you know. It was also stated that, of course, most parents would really protect their kids from negative emotions, negative things that would happen. And, you know, we try, even me, I try to make things easier for my son. If I could just have it my own way, ako nagagawa lahat. Sometimes it makes me annoyed kasi napakabagal. Mahirap matapos ang isang bagay. Like, you know, when I try to make him change his clothes, sometimes we argue kasi he wants to do things. And I know, because I'm an adult, that if he does his way of doing things, matagal matatapos. But you know, it's a big challenge as a parent to really, you know, suck it all in and try to intervene. So sometimes I try, okay, I show it to him. You know, this is how you do things. So, of course, he's still 3 years old, so he has clumsy hands, he has clumsy feet, everything is clumsy, so that's the reason why matagal matapos. But you know, I try to give time whenever he does this because it's an act of initiative on his side. You know, he is trying his best to do things on his own, because he is learning how to navigate the world. You know, sometimes some parents, they don't teach that to their kids. They don't ready their kids about how the world works. Like when you give them everything they want, they would just say, okay, I could get anything that I want. I just have to say, Mama, Papa, this, and everything is there. But what we don't teach them is that in the real world, you have to work hard for whatever it is that you would want, may it be career, a relationship, a love life, or anything. You have to work for it. You need to give your best for it. And if you don't make them realize this value of hard work, of course they wouldn't know. Like some parents would say, those kids will just learn, just let them be, they will learn. But I always ask myself, how would they learn if we, the parents, wouldn't be there to guide them? Like, we just let them have their own way. So that's one realization for me. And there's one here that I really like, especially for kids who are having a lot of meltdowns, especially for toddlers. I have a toddler, and they really melt down so much. Even me, I have my own meltdowns, especially if my son has his meltdown. So we both melt down, and that is a disaster in itself. Okay. So there is one thing here that I really like to do with my son as much as I can. It's a learning process for me too. I'm not saying I'm a pro. It's a learning process for me kasi siya ang aming panganay. He's our firstborn. So here, sometimes the truth is embarrassing, and it should be. For example, if you behave at work in a way that is embarrassing, that feeling of embarrassment inside of you teaches you lessons. When you attach good thinking to the uncomfortable emotion of embarrassment, you make a decision to never again behave that way at work. So, that uncomfortable emotion of embarrassment coupled with good thinking creates self-guidance. So, we live in a modern world, and kids nowadays lack self-guidance kasi, I don't know, the young generation of parents, I'm part of it, we've suffered a lot and we've experienced a lot, of course, especially when it comes to discipline. Kasi, of course, we were raised with strict parents, you know, most of us. So, like for me, I was raised strictly by my parents, and lahat na ng pamamalo was there. But the one thing that was lacking was there was no explanation as to why it was done. You know, just sometimes magugulat ka na lang, masakit na, you know, those kind of things. And sometimes those parents, those relatives, they say hurtful words towards you, and they would say that's words of encouragement. Pagmamahal namin yan sa'yo, that's how we love you, tough love. But you know, that made me think that someday if I would have a son or a daughter, I would try my best that I would let them know that I am trying my best to discipline them, not because I want to hurt them, but because I want them to remember the lesson that I'm trying to teach them in a way that I don't hurt them too much, in a way that they don't feel like they're bad, or in a way that would make them question themselves, especially when they grow older. Or I don't want to say hurtful words that are below the belt and, you know, change his mindset psychologically and say that that's how I love you. That's how I love you, even though you already said a very, very big bad word towards your child. So I'm trying my best to learn, and I think this is one thing that's positive or change from what I see with new parents my age or within this era. Kasi we try our best to not just raise our kids with money, with toys, or with whatever, but we do try to understand them. Kasi we know that if a person grows up without being understood, without being felt, or without making them feel that they're valued, they would think that they are not valuable enough. And that's something that should really come from us parents, and that is the biggest gift that we could give to our kids.